Merry meet and welcome to Witchy Wednesday here at Ariel's Corner. This is Ariel Gatoga and we are streaming live on YouTube and on Twitch, and moderating today on YouTube is the lovely Diane, and moderating on Twitch is the lovely Jennifer. I'm sorry that it took me so long to get the page up on YouTube. I thought it was already up, but it wasn't. So some of our mod team is kind of away right now, so we are actually going to be putting out a call for more moderators. So if that's something that you're interested in, we would love to have you on our team. I'm going to put out a post soon, but you can also put your, if you desire to be a moderator, you could put that right in the chat thread right now too, and we'll get you going on that, because we really do love our moderators and we need them. So let's see, today I'm going to be combining the color magic that we've been learning with the angelic signature that we were talking about on Thrilling Thursday. Plus, we're going to make all of that into a protection talisman of Samael today. So before we get going on that, I want to, where's my overhead? Here we go. I want to just talk a little bit, and this is kind of this one little piece of scrap paper here. I want to just talk about color a little bit more, and we won't go too far into it. But just for instance, if you don't have a lot of colors, let me get another piece of paper, hang on. But if you're like on a budget and you don't have a lot of colors in your collection, what I recommend is that you spend your money on the really saturated, vibrant colors. Because if you have those and some grays, what you can do is you can take your color wheel, and like today, we're going to be working in red. I've got really vibrant, saturated reds, but what happens if I wanted something a little less vibrant and saturated? Well, I could go buy a lot more colors. That's one thing you can do. So if you have that money, that's great. That's probably the best way to do it. But let's say I don't. What I can do is I can look at what the complementary color right across the color wheel from red is, and then the two on either side. They call that the split complementary when we're looking at color schemes. But we can also use it for adding to our reds. So, for instance, let's just take this. Let's take a green, and we'll make a couple of green marks here. And then let's take a blue-green. Where does this one go? I don't want to lose it. Let's take a blue-green here. It's almost a little light. There's a couple light blue-greens. Let's do maybe a couple dark blue-greens too, just for fun. Might be too dark. And then let's go, so you see here that I had red across there was green, blue-green, and then on the other side is yellow-green. So let's take a couple yellow-greens. I didn't get my gray markers out, so we won't work with those today. And this is just, I like to work with the markers on camera just because they're so fast and they photograph fairly well. But this also can work with your, let's do a little darker one. It can also work with your colored pencils and crayons and all of that. So what we have, now let's take my regular red marker that I was going to use. That's pretty red. Now what happens if I decide I don't want it that red? Look at the difference between when I used one of those complementary or split complementary colors on top of it. This is what happens when I use a green. See the difference? Here's this lighter green. So I didn't have to spend a bunch of money on new markers. I got dark reds and bright reds. Just because I have all bright colors. So all those bright colors can also give me some dark colors. So you don't have to spend a ton of money on colors if you want a lot of colors. And all you do is play. You play with this. You play making some muddier colors by working with these colors right across the wheel and to the right and left. All right? And that's what we're going to do today a little bit with this Mars Samael pinnacle. So what I've done is I've just put this in gray here, what we're going to use. And this is, I didn't do a very good job of that, but that's okay. This is the Hebrew, this is the pentagram, this is the angelic signature of Samael, and then here's the symbol for Mars, Aries, Scorpio, and then here's the planetary sigil for Mars. So I put all of those in there. So I thought we would just darken up this pentagram and the circles around there, and that way I could have some bright and dark reds. So I'm putting that sort of blue-green here, right on the line. Oops, what is going on here? Oh, let me move this up a little bit. There we go. Ooh. Let's see if I can. This table's not big enough for everything that I want on it. Are we sturdy? Okay, we are. So let's just color this in with this sort of light green. And we don't need tons of it because I don't need to go super dark. But that way I have some options for my red circle other than just always that bright red. So I'm just going to play with that idea, just darkening the red with some of this green first. This is a type of grisé painting or underpainting, but instead of using grayscale, we're using complementary colors. And it's not an advanced technique. A lot of people say, oh, that's very advanced. It's not. It's very basic. You're just taking either some gray. You can do a similar thing with gray. We're taking some, or using some things from across the color wheel to just darken up the color a little bit. And you can play with mixing every single color in your palette to see how many more colors you can get. And it does work with pencil too. It's just you have to realize that you're not mixing colors as much as you are blending colors on top of one another. Now, if you're painting, you can really go wild with this and mix pigments together, but you can't really do that with markers or pencils or crayons, but you can layer and it still gives you that effect. And that's why I like to do it one under the other when I'm trying to darken my markers. So rather than, a lot of times people just choose the markers that they think look nice, or the crayons or the pencils that they think look nice, but they say that, your chosen medium is kind of expensive, Well, start with really bright, saturated colors, and you can desaturate those colors by using other colors that you buy, and you can double your pleasure. You can double your collection just by doing that. I probably could have gone darker with this blue-green, but this should suffice because we don't have to go crazy. All right, so this is good. I could do it on here too, but I'm not going to. All right, let's get going. We've got lots to do. I think what I'll do, let's do our background first. I think for the background, I might use, let's just go ahead and make a little color palette. For the background on the red, let's see how this would look together. I could go a little darker maybe with this green. I should have chosen my colors, but I didn't have time. So it's starting to look a little Christmassy. Let's go with some of this blue-green instead. Because what I want is the colors to pop, but I don't really want it to look like Christmas. Because that's not quite the goal for Samael. This is nice. I don't mind that. Okay, so I'm going to use this color here, this blue-green 15, for the background. So I think what I want to do is maybe I'm going to use a lighter version of this over here. I'm just going to put like a little coat of this on everybody. I should have made a smaller version of this so it wouldn't take me so long. Sorry, guys. So what I'm doing is I'm going to put this background first so that when I'm working with the red, I don't have to put the background on top of the red. Because, and it's okay if it's kind of streaky because I'll go over it again. I don't want to put the background on top of the red because that'll just bleach out the red, and that's not quite what we want. Now, in fact, I can probably just go over all of this because it's so light and save myself a heck of a lot of time. There we go. Now, sometimes with these markers, I work dark to light, but when I'm doing this kind of thing, I like to work light to dark because that way I don't color over my sketch. Now, I just used the computer to sketch this out for me today because I didn't have time to bring out my compass and all that because I wanted to show you the coloring parts of it, but we'll go through making these by hand as well. It's good to make them by hand, but sometimes you don't have time. So I just use the computer. It's prettier when you use the computer, unless you're a really good artist, which I'm not, but I'm not sure that I think it's a little more powerful if you create all this yourself, even if it's a little messy. But either way is fine, because look at all the attention we're giving this by coloring it, So this Hebrew on the circle is just the same one that you find in your Star Talismans book, and it's Elohim Gibor, and it's the god name for the sphere of Geburah, or Mars. So what I'm doing is making a talisman of Samael for protection. Now we could use this for something else if we didn't want to use protection. And in that regard, you could put your petition on the back of it if you had something very specific you wanted to do. But I just know that it's for protection, and that's what I'm intending as I color it. And angels are smart, and they get it. It's not like the angels are idiots. I'm like, I don't know, what do you want? He didn't say. I don't know what he wants. Now, it's odd to start with aqua on Samael, but it's such a nice contrast, and it doesn't end up looking like Christmas, that you'll see it's kind of nice. It pops. I think it works really well with the red to go not directly across the color wheel sometimes, but to the right or to the left. Near complementary colors, I think they're called in the art world. Okay, so there's that. I even have a lighter one of these if I wanted. I could go like this. Try not to totally obscure my sigil in here. So I'm just trying to do my best to make the red pop. And that's why I'm putting this on here. My gray is so light that I got to be careful not to go too heavy with the marker, because I did not outline it very well. I tried to freehand this sword, and I didn't do a very nice job, but Samael will understand. I'm just going so fast so that we have time and you're not too bored. If you do have questions, you can put them right in the chat thread, and I will get to it before the end. We don't have a premiere today. We should have one tomorrow, though, if all goes well. I'll get all these signatures out. I've got them all, the angelic signatures, I've got them all pretty much ready to go. They just are, I have to proof them a little bit, and then I'll get them out for you hopefully this week. And then the color magic is pretty close. I thought it was ready to go, and then I was reading it, and there was a lot in there I wanted to kind of improve. So I took about 4 hours yesterday to kind of rewrite some of that stuff. So hopefully that gets out this week as well. Okay. I think I'm going to put some light red on this part here. Okay. Let me get a red pen. Just a red regular pen, I think. Oh, I'm dropping everything. I hope I didn't just destroy the stream. He dropped his mouse and the stream ended. I hope not. Well, let's see. Is that a sword? What is that thing? Supposed to be a sword. Okay, let's do this. I did these with the signs facing out for a change. Just a little different energy. It works either way. You can do it so that everything's facing up, or you can do it like this. I think I'm going to do all of these while I'm here. I'm just using a regular felt tip pen from whatever this is, Pentel. Nothing fancy. I like these because they are alcohol proof. So if I put my alcohol markers on top of them, they don't smear. And it does give me a little bit of color. Thinking about how safe Samael keeps us as we're doing this. Safe, protected, no need to fear. Samael is here. Obviously, you can take a long time and make these really beautiful, but that's not what we're doing today. We are just showing you the process. I just don't want any of these designs or letters to get lost if I decide to put some more color over them. So I want to make them shine through, and I'm just going to start with red. You could go with the gray to do this, or you could go with one of those opposite colors like we said earlier to do this. Okay, now let's look at the signature and do it here as well. Pretty easy signature, which is nice. Okay, so we've got our basic figures. So now let's just start coloring. I think for this one, for the star, I'm going to just start with my darkest red and just get it on. I don't know why, but I started to gray this in instead of using the green earlier, and I accidentally picked up a metallic pen. So we got this little bit of silver poking through, which was not my original intention. Now I'm very rustic with everything that I do, even when I start, if I am using rulers and all of that, it starts looking real perfect. I tend to mess it up just because that's just my style. I like everything to look rather rustic, but if you're one of those people that like things looking very scientific and pure, that's fine too. It's really good to know your aesthetic and to experiment with it, because you as a magician are very unique, and you want to allow yourself to have that uniqueness. So I'm just covering up all of these dark aqua lines with this here. I'm going to do that on the circles as well, I think. But we're just going to start with this star. All right. I'm going to I kind of like this aqua, but I think I might, yeah, I'm going to just leave that. I'm going to just go ahead and go out a little bit here. Oh, let's do the circle. What am I doing? Really nice dark red. I love this red. Fire engine. Fire engine Samael red. So I make little strokes so that I can have those little imperfections. If I wanted something, I would make a longer stroke if I wanted it to look, more even. But I like this. I like this feel. To me, it's much more I don't know, magical to have those little imperfections everywhere. Just jumps out at me more. Oops. Sometimes we want it to jump out at you in the right way, though, not that way. Normally, I'd take about 3 or 4 times as long, obviously, too, but I want to just get through the whole talisman today. Now, if we weren't using a computer to make these designs, which I tend to not do, I like to just draw them myself, what I could do is start just the design, just the sketch on a Tuesday, and then just work on it little by little, because it's just the day that you start on something that determines its timing, right? So that's just one way to do that. All right, now where's my other? I was gonna try this one and see how this looked. It's a little bit light. Let's just go darker. That's better. I'm just going to completely color these in. You can put more symbols in here if you want. Nothing wrong with that. You can absolutely put more symbols in here if you like. You can have as many symbols as you want, as long as you feel like you're making a complete statement. Sometimes if it's got too much in it, I feel like it's confused. So less is more sometimes as well. But you do you, boo. It's your talisman. It's you and Samael together having a relationship. I'm just going to go one at a time because this particular medium works best if it's a little bit damp. If you're trying to get any kind of blending going on. I'm not really worried about having absolutely perfect transitions or gradients or anything though, because that's, this is a martial fiery planet, so it's not necessarily, that's not how fire works. Fire works in fire's own little way. Let's see, where's this? Let's see if I can just make it. I could just go all light if I wanted to, go all the way out to the most light version of this color. Or I could put like a little blue center, green center. I'm just going to go light. And I could really smooth this out, but I don't want to. I think this looks kind of fiery. So I'm going to leave it. And I'm just going to do that for each and every point. Boy, that's a lot of work. That's okay. We're up to the challenge. We can do this without spending too much time. So I've just got several shades of the same color here. And if I didn't, I would put different shades of the of gray underneath it, just to simulate that, like we did with the lines. That line is much darker than the marker is because I put the green under it, the aqua under it. And I could do that with gray, and I could do that with, if I had different shades of aqua, I could do that. But if you have different shades of gray, you can use that with every single color to give yourself the dimensions that you're looking for. You don't have to buy a bunch of different colors and markers and stuff. And I will show you that, just not today, just because I wanted to show you the opposite color today. And I just didn't have the time to make a whole gray version of the talisman before coloring it in. But that's what you do, is you decide if you want different shades of color before you bring the color into it, and you do it all in gray. You do it all in grayscale first. And it sounds really hard. It's not. It's just a little time consuming. And it's not difficult. It's not challenging as much as people think it might be. It's really easy. Everything is a lot easier than we think it's going to be. It was 24. I'm going to give them down to 22 and then maybe some 20. Just giving it a little bit of oomph here. And this is a nice little kind of it looks like it's going to be a real pink marker, but it's just a very light red. It doesn't have any of that fuchsia in it. I think I wanted a little more of this. This is 24. So it's sort of simulating some flames. I could put some more oranges and stuff in there if I had more time, but I'm not going to. All right. Because we've got so much to do here. Ariel, get going. Get a move on, mister. Do this 27. Flames of protection. Fiery wall of protection. That's what we have. So protected, so safe. Samael wields the sword, wields the flame, so we don't have to. We don't have to be defensive because we have that defense. The strength of Mars. The strength of Gebura. We can just relax and feel safe knowing that Samael's there for us, but we have to ask, and talismans are just one way to ask. It's not like Samael is saying, well, shoot, you didn't get that talisman right, so I can't help you. It's just a way that we can really ask, and we can be clear with our own deep mind that we're asking for help from the angelic realm. So if you don't get it perfectly, it's okay. You do your best to get the symbols as well as you can. And you know that the angelic realm is not beholden to your abilities or lack thereof. So we're making statements with our color. We're making statements with our symbols. We're making statements sometimes with measurements, although I didn't get the measurements just right because this is a computer program, a computer printout. So usually if I'm doing this by hand, I make sure that the measurements are there just because it's just another level, just another layer of communication and language. But if you don't have one of those available to you, that's fine. You just use all the other ones at your disposal. We'll use some perfume, the language of scent. We'll use a candle, the language of light. Using the language of color, we're using Hebrew. All of the different things that are available to us today to get this show on the road. I might put little symbols in there since it seems like that's what it's asking for. Now, with the alcohol markers, it's best to do one little section at a time, like I said, so that you can keep it damp. But with your pencils, you don't have to. You can do one layer of the dark, and then one layer of the medium, and then a little lighter, a little lighter. You can layer it. You can do, it's a lot easier if you have a dry medium like that. You don't have to finish one section at a time because you need the wet. So each medium has its strengths and weaknesses. One thing I love about this is we can get this whole thing done pretty much in one stream because markers are a lot faster because I don't have to have so many layers. In fact, you only really need one layer. I mean, you can layer the markers, but you really only need one layer except for with this underpainting that we're doing. We're doing multiple layers on that. Okay, what was this? I want this. I did get this sketch done yesterday, so it's got that Tuesday Mars energy in it. But even if I didn't, it's okay because it's Wednesday. So Mercury is a nice catch-all, although it's nice to be able to, if possible, get your, don't just rely on Mercury to take care of everything for you. It's good to do your best to try to get your timing right. Okay, we've got one more here. Don't those look good? I love this. I'm happy with this. I'm feeling very protected right away. I'm going to include everybody in this so everybody can feel protected together, okay? This is not just for me. This is for all of us. Making a statement with our color. Now, even if we didn't have all of this Hebrew and angel signature and pentagram, all we had was like a circle or something, we could still make little gestures with our pen or pencil to give it that sense of more of a martial feel rather than just a real smooth color, because Mars isn't real smooth. Mars is more erratic and active, and so we want that kind of a feel here. Okay, that's not the right color. Is this the right color? Yes, this is the right color. So I'm just kind of pulling up some of the color from below to give it a little bit of a blend. But like I said, I don't really care if it's super blended because I want that sort of martial, active, flamey kind of feel. Flamey, flamey. It's not the first time I've been called flamey. Although I've never felt like I was, I don't know. I'm not going to get into that. Everybody always knew I was gay long before I did. I didn't know what that meant, but they did make fun of me a lot when I was a kid for being gay. And I didn't know what being gay was. I didn't know what any of that meant. But they all knew it. Even my family knew it. Luckily, I have a family that was never didn't have a huge problem. So, but they're like, oh yeah, that's Guy. That's how Ariel is. Okay, here we go. How is this? Is this good? Here we go. So now we've started having some protection here. So I think maybe, let's see what happens if I put this right on top. I'm using the lightest red in my collection here just to see what that looks like. I should have swatched all of this rather than experimenting on my talisman, but that's not quite dark enough, is it? So let's go one darker. I'm actually going to let that dry. Let's try going one darker here. This is looking a little bit better. It's just a desaturated sort of red. It's not that pink color anymore. I don't mind that. I don't mind that at all. And I'll go over that, the top of these symbols. I'm still peeking through. I probably could have gone one shade darker. But it's not bad at all. I think it's pretty darn cool. And I don't have this color of marker, so it's nice that we can make this color of marker for our Mars pentagram. Or Mars pentacle, I should say. Talisman. Now, if I have a lot of that blue-green peeking through, I might just go a little darker or put another layer on. I think that's pretty nice. Got that sort of reddish brown. I love it. Okay. Now, I think I might do the same over here. What do you think? Is that going to be too much? I don't think so. I was gonna stick with this being the accent color, but I'm loving this mud that we're making. So let's make some more mud. I love playing in the mud. This is so nice. I love this color. Which one is this one? This is 22. I'm just afraid this 24 is going to be too dark. Let's see. Yeah, but look how beautiful that color turns out to be. Dark is good. And then I'll just go over the top of this Hebrew. I love this. This is totally different than what I was going to do. And this is my idea of a good time. Look how easy it is to paint on top of this green with this red marker. It's doing all the work for me, this aqua color. I don't have to do anything. It's doing all the work for me. I have more experience doing this with grays than the complementary colors. So every time I use these, it's a new experience. And I love it. I love being able to desaturate these really bright colors without having to go out and buy a bunch of new media. And I've been doing that with gray for a long time, but it's only in the past maybe 8 months that I've been playing around with color complements to do it. And every time I do it, I get super excited. And see, it doesn't even matter if I stay in the lines because I already have all of my little values predetermined by the underpaint. So I don't have to be all that careful. I think it's just amazing. I'm happy, peppy, and bursting with love. How great is this? Okay, now I'm going to just use probably either some pens on the top or some colored pencil. I think pens just because they're faster and brighter and I don't have to futz with it as much and we can be done. So let's go get some pens, some gel pens to make this stuff pop. For this, in here, I'm just going to go with this pink for the whole thing. It's not really even a pink. It's sort of like a flesh color. It's the lightest version of this red I've been using. And that way, if there's any hint of that aqua left, this will take care of it. So nobody will know that we have aqua in this. It's our little secret that we have some of that Venus underneath it just to keep everything from being two-dimensional, which I think is pretty amazing. Our little secret. Okay, let's get a pen. I don't think this is a gel pen. I think it might be an acrylic pen. Let's see what this is. Yeah, it is. Which means I gotta be careful not to smear it as I go. As I am wont to do. Our fun little sword here, which turned out not as bad as I was expecting. Okay, let's, I probably should have started with the center, yeah, but I didn't. So now I can smear in case I wasn't going to before, and now I really can. These are just acrylic paint pens, which need to dry. They don't dry quickly like the alcohol markers. And you don't want to put these under your alcohol markers. You want to do the alcohol marker first. So otherwise these will get up in the brush and you'll get little dead spots in your brush and it's awful. You don't want that. I could put green here for this. Do I want to do that? That's going to be rather Christmassy. Maybe I could try the aqua. Let's try the aqua. I should have decided my... No, it's too blue. I should have decided my palette before I started, but I didn't. I'm just going to stick with the red and call it happy. Did I? Seems like it's lost its point. It's not popping quite as much as I'd like it to, but I'm just going to go with it. Because we don't want this stream to last 7 years. I think I really should be using a lighter color on top of this. Maybe after it's dry, I'll go over it. In fact, I think I will. Just for the Hebrew. I lost my tip. Did it get stuck in here? I don't know. Just go with it. Just go with it, Ariel. You can do it. Yes, you can. You have this. You've got this. All right. Let's see. If I were thinking, is this dry? Yeah. Okay, so let's try just adding this. Ooh, yeah, there we go. It's a little more white than I was expecting, but I like it. I could also use that red glitter pen. I just don't know where it is. Try not to smudge as much as I possibly can. I think this is all dry. I think we're okay. I just like to go right to left when I'm doing the Hebrew, but I guess ultimately, since I'm just coloring, it doesn't matter. Okay, one more and we are good to go. In fact, I'm going to go like this. It's okay. I love it. What do we want with this? Anything? Do we want anything in there? I'm not sure if we do. I think I'm just gonna leave it. All right. I think that's our talisman. See, that didn't take too long. I mean, I could go through and do the white all over everything. Should I? Now that I've started? What's our time? Oh no, it's too late. So let's just cut this out and we'll go ahead and charge it. Time gets away from me when I'm doing this stuff. It really does. I'm so happy that we're working on all this, because this is where the rubber really can meet the road with magic, is learning the language of color and incorporating that language of color in everything you do. We didn't really use any complementary colors on here. All we did was underpaint with them. I didn't do any color scheme. It's all just red on red. But I think it worked out really well. I'm going to go ahead and spray the back of this just because I don't feel like doing too much of it. Did I just lose everybody? Sorry. Did I lose us? No, I think we're good. I just put my drawing board on my keyboard. Okay, so there's that. That did make it curl, unfortunately, but that's okay. Ooh, it smells good in here. I should have used my Mars perfume, but I just used the Eau de Cologne. I brought some Mars perfume out and I forgot to use it. But that's it. You see how we did that? We just took our color magic and we applied it to our star magic, our star talisman magic. And then we also included some underpainting in this. And we took a near complementary color to our red and made more reds than what we had. And then I just put some white over the top of it just to make it pop. But that's completely optional. That's just for fun. All right, let's see if we have any questions before I end this stream. I'm sorry this went so long. I didn't realize it was taking that long. Oh, no, doesn't look like it. All right, so thank you so much for being here today. I so appreciate you. I hope this was interesting. We'll probably keep revisiting color magic, obviously, because it's something that I work with a lot, especially when we get into that, when we start getting into the seals of the planets from the Solomon, the Solomonic magic. They really come to life when you add color magic to them. A lot of people just use red ink on parchment and call it happy. But if you really incorporate color magic into those Solomonic seals, they come to life in ways that you did not know were possible. So we'll do a lot more of that too. All right, thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much to the amazing moderators. I can't seem to get my computer working now. Thank you so much to the amazing moderators. Today we had Diane on YouTube and Jennifer on Twitch. Oh, we have a question. Have you put together a recommended book list for us? What is wrong with you, Ariel? You never get everything done that you're supposed to do. No, I haven't done anything like that. I haven't gotten anything done because mostly what I've gotten done is try to get my mom signed up with Medi-Cal, and that's a lot more work than I was ever experiencing, and it's still not complete. So between that and my job, I haven't done as much with Ariel's Corner as I would like to, but I will do that as soon as I can. It is on the list. But thanks for the reminder, and thank you to everybody for joining us today. And again, thank you to the amazing moderators Diane and Jennifer, and we will see everybody tomorrow for Thrilling Thursday. Until next time. Blessed be.